Rollins, who absolutely dominated that heat. I'm looking at all of his scores. There's one wave, two waves that he could throw away, a 2.2 and a 1.08. The rest were in the 5, 6, and 9 range. Unreal.
João Zeke not only, actually, I don't believe he's a trialist. If I remember correctly, if I can find my paper in front of me, João Zeke is one of the wild cards.
That's right.
So the wild cards, the trialists, the Brazilians doing their best to push the top names out of competition and keep moving forward.
João Zeke getting second place in the trials and making his way through round 1. And here we are. He's making his way into round number 4.
Yes, here we go. João Zeke, trialist wild card from right here in Niterói.
He ended up second behind Sergio Luis in the trials. So he's making a name for himself right here on the live feed from Brazil, the Itacoatiara Pro, sponsored by Pride, Uzeki.com and net. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The last heat of round number 3 has been completed. Currently waiting on the outside, ready to rock and roll. Round number 4, heat number 1. This is a four-man heat, I believe.
No, 3-man heats in round 3.
Okay, I'm going ahead of myself. This is the last heat of round number 3 out in the water. Mitch Rollins making his way out of the water.
Sorry, Manny, messing you up. I'm looking at round 4 already. We're still in round 3.
Yeah, okay. I was looking at your computer screen. I'm like, we're there already? Mitch Rollins coming out of the water. He is pumped, and he's stoked.
That was a strong performance by Mitch in that heat. Couple of big scores, couple of big flips, textbook inverts, really putting it together.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen, the live feed. We are now in heat number 8. The two South Africans, Mark McCarthy and Jared Houston, versus the lone Brazilian, Leonardo Costa, coming up next. Oh, Novi's not happy at all.
Novi had a strong heat last time around, but our boy Teza, who isn't here,
that just looks weird right there, but that guy's just getting autographs. Look at passionate bodyboarding fans right here, even in his hot pants.
Our boy Teza says it all the time. You're only as good as your last wave, and unfortunately, Novi's last wave, not enough.
No, he tried to do that takeoff roll, and that wasn't going to be that 6.27 wave that he was looking for. Mitch Rollins getting hounded right now by the bodyboarding fans down on the water's edge, and soon as we can get him into the interview booth, we will jump over to Alex and Mitch for an interview with Mitch.
You know, we saw Novi go for the Rolo takeoff. We saw Ryan Hardy use the Rolo takeoff in the heat before. That's twice in one round, twice in 2 heats even. I thought the Rolo takeoff died in like 1991.
If you do it right, it's a functional move if performed correctly.
So some of the guys mixing in some of the old school with the new school and tying it together pretty flawlessly, making it functional. So, all right, again, out in the water, we have Mark McCarthy in red, Jared Houston in yellow, Leonardo Costa from Brazil, one of the trialists in blue. This is the final heat of round 3. Then we are going to go into round 4, a non-elimination heat. The winner of round 4, of each round 4 heat, will go directly to the quarterfinal. Second place will go into round 6, and third and fourth place finishers, they will go to round 5. So again, the showdown format, rewarding the riders that win their heats and do well, and making the other guys do a little work.
We got the green light to go ahead with round number 4, and we will have a check-in tomorrow at 6:30, but a lot of people are putting their chips as tomorrow being the lay day, the smallest day of the competition window. But nothing's for sure until 6:30 tomorrow morning. So stay tuned on IBAWorldTour.com or Twitter, Facebook, IBA World Tour. And that's where we're going to give you the information, the updates, whether we're going to run tomorrow or not. Look at this, out in the water. Mark McCarthy in red, Jared Houston in yellow, and Leonardo Costa in the blue jersey, waiting patiently. Mother Nature, where are you at?
So in that last heat, Manny, we saw one of the local Itacoatiara riders knock out Michael Novi. We're seeing some bigger names go down. Now in this heat, is Leonardo Costa from Espirito Santo up to the challenge of doing what his fellow Brazilians have been doing and knock out one of the big-name riders for another upset? I'm pretty sure Mark McCarthy and Jared Houston have something to say otherwise, but we're just going to have to wait and see how things pan out in the next 24 minutes.
Leonardo Costa comes to us from the trials. He took the last spot, the 7th place spot in the trials to be able to advance into the main event, and here he is. He has a chance to knock out one of the top 24 and advance on to round number 4. Look at those suns coming out once again. Get me out in that water.
You know what, Manny? After we wrap up today, we're going back to the hotel room, grab our gear. We're hitting the water.
I'm going straight in after that last show. I got my trunks. I just need to dip in there.
There you go. Even better.
Look at this. Paddling down the beach. It is Mark McCarthy in the red jersey, turning around, taking a look. This will be the first wave of heat number 8 in round number 3. Mark McCarthy slides under the pocket. Look at that perfect glassy barrel. Nice deep barrel. Small wave, but nice clean barrel for Mark McCarthy.
And there's that little side wave we've been seeing riders utilizing this whole event. It seems like there's a little wedge and it comes sideways and then it runs almost parallel to the beach. It's almost like a detour, but the riders have been using it to the fullest advantage during these heats. There you saw Mark McCarthy utilizing it at the end of his wave on that one. Again, yes, a slightly smaller wave. Here's a replay, but Mark fully making use of it.
Look at that, just a perfect sheet glass coming over him as he's just pushing and streaking through the barrel. Mark McCarthy finds the exit and ends it with a nice spin right there and a roll. Look at this. Jared Houston.
Jared Houston driving.
Oh,
nice big air roll on that section for Jared Houston. Then he's going to duck out. So one maneuver wave, but he made it count.
That was sick. Jared Houston with a big roll. Slap some butter on that thing. That was sweet. All right, once again, I do have the IBA International Google Plus profile page up. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. This is the Itacoatiara Pro. Jared Houston, another look. Look at the bottom turn. He has his eyes set. Big cylindrical roll. Putting his head back and just following, letting his body follow. That was nice, Jared Houston. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you guys for tuning in from wherever you are. This is Manny V and Steve Action Jackson laying it down for you guys. Well, we're not doing the work. The competitors are out doing the work. Round number 3, heat number 8, currently out in the water with 22 minutes remaining. We will go into round number 4. Those are 4 four-man heats. Top 2, or actually, it is a non-elimination round, so that's going to be exciting to watch and see what they do. The winner of round number 4 heats will go straight to the quarterfinals. That's awesome.
Yes, and then second place will go to round 6. Our third and fourth place finishers will go to round 5 and have to battle it out to continue to advance on. If you haven't been watching the earlier heats, the guys that are coming up in round 4, this could be a quarterfinal right here. I mean, look at this, Manny. Jake Stone, Ben Player, Magnu Pasu, Pierre-Louis Costas, Andrew Lester, Dudu Pedra, Uri Valadown, Dave Winchester, Alex Uranga. It's stacked. And the top 2 guys in this heat, they will be joining them in round 4.
21 minutes remaining. Look at Mark McCarthy down the beach. He's stroking. He's paddling. He sees this wave coming in down the beach. Is he in the right position? No. The wave is too far down the beach for him to get slotted and get into that wave. It looks like it glassed off. The winds have mellowed out a little bit, so these guys are stoked. These are some of my favorite conditions where it's glassy, light overcast.
Yeah, some fun small to mid-sized waves, glassy conditions. You can go out and play around and have fun for hours. Yeah, just trade waves with your boys and enjoy.
All right, looks like we do have the winner of the last heat with Alex Leon. Alex, where you at, brother?
Yeah, thanks, boys. Look, I don't tell you what, the weather's not the only thing you're heating up down here. Mitch Rawlins is also heating up. Talk about someone who's found their rhythm.
Yeah, nice use of words there, Alex. Yeah, no, it's a Yeah, the beachy, you know, there's a lot of peaks up and down the beach, and I kind of decided to sit a little wider than Novi and the other Brazilian, and I was a little bit hesitant out there. Went a bit slow in the early start of the heat, but then I got a couple, and then it ended up playing out all right. But you know, it's the beachy, and you're never safe, and it's always a stress, you know.
Well, blokes yelling out, "Go the bunnies" in the background. Some pineapple heads, Ryan Hardy and that. But listen, you're on fire. You've come off what'd you get, a third or a fifth in Chile? You won box. You've turned the year around. This is your first year on the tour. You qualified and you're up there in the top 5.
Yeah, no, it feels good. Just you know, just trying to keep with the front runners. You know, that's they always seem to be in different heats, and look at their heats, and seem to be heats after them. So I'm just, the pressure's always on me to make those heats, and I feel like yeah, I just got to keep doing that to get through the heats.
Who do you think's probably the worst, like the major threats in these sort of waves?
I think any of them. Everyone's, you know, it's, you know.
Be specific.
It's basically.
Mention names.
Okay, to be specific, I think Yuri's going to be pretty competitive. I think Jeff was, but now he's out. But Winnie's always there. Jake's consistent. You know, there's a bunch of them. There's not much difference between great and greatest in this sport.
All right, any last words, mate?
Go the Rabbits, go Bunnies, and hello.
Back to you boys in the booth.
Jeez, man. Alex Leon getting it feisty down there. Give me names. All right, so Mitch Rollins, he's stoked no matter what. Very interesting. Mitch Rollins is making a full-on charge here in 2012.
Yes, after winning that heat and in that round and Jeff Hubbard going down in round 3, when we leave this event, it looks like Mitch Rollins is going to move up into the number 2 spot in the world rankings for the men's Grand Slam series.
Can you imagine Mitch Rollins in his first year on the tour taking it, world title? That would be insane. Change the battery pack, camera 1.
So, I mean, our current world tour leader, Dave Winchester, sitting in first, looking pretty solid so far in this event. He has a firm lead on the top spot, but yeah, it looks like Mitch is going to be able to leapfrog Jeff Hubbard into that number 2 spot and knock Jeff down to 3rd, just above Mike Stewart. And there's going to be some shuffling going on. I said it earlier. See, BP's still alive. He's in 5th position. There you go, BP. And Ben Player has a chance to move up in the rankings as well, so you could very well watch Jeff Hubbard and Mike Stewart drop to the bottom of the top 5 and watch Ben Player and Mitch Rollins move their way up the ladder.
Very interesting to see how everything pans out at the end of this competition. A lot of situations will be changed at the end of this event, so stay tuned. Bringing you the live action here in round number 3. We have 16 minutes remaining in the last heat of round number 3, heat 8. Currently out in the water, in leading the charge, Jared Houston in the yellow jersey, in red, Mark McCarthy, and in blue, Leonardo Costa. Yeah, so there you have it. Thank you all for tuning in. George Fernandez in Santo Domingo. There's the boys right there. Jake Stone finding a brand new pair of Brazilian shoes here. The quality leather right there for Jake Stone.
Oh, look, they're just his size.
Chris Joyner in Delaware. What's up, brother? I need some peppers. So Chris Joyner actually selling peppers, and I need to get a whole new batch. So hook me up. Put your email or your website on the comments box right there. Daniel, what up? Still midnight in Perth. Look at this, out the back.
Leonardo Costa up and riding on this one, kicking into this wave, driving down the line, drops down to the bottom, sets his line, projects off the top, gets a nice clean roll off of that section before the wave closes, rides out, and then ducks out to head back to the lineup.
Oh, my. He could be another one of those big name killers right there, taking out maybe Mark McCarthy or Jared Houston, Leonardo Costa.
Well, according to the Confederation of Brazilian Bodyboarding website, Leonardo Costa is currently ranked number 1 on the Brazilian national tour.
Wow. So Leonardo Costa, definitely one of those Brazilian contest machines. And he made it through the trials, taking that last spot in the trials, number 7 spot. And here he is trying to make an effort to get into round number 4.
Well, Leonardo Costa coming to us from Espiritu Santo. There's
Espiritu
a very
Santos. Espiritu Santos.
Espiritu Santo. Yes, very large bodyboarding community up there. Very large, very intense bodyboarding culture up there. Very proud, a lot of respect up there. And here's one of their native sons.
Situation change going live right in front of you.
And
Jared Houston holding steady right now with this combined score of 11.58. Leonardo Costa looking strong too. He's trying to get a better wave than that 3.2, and it looks like a rip current's just coming through the contest area right now, making the waves just not appealing. It's weird. We've seen everything from sunny skies to the clouds rolling in, and it's been hectic here, especially for the webcast crew. The webcast production guys are in a possessed room, and I don't know how they're pulling it off. Here we go, Jared Houston.
Jared Houston up and riding.
Nice backflip right there.
Wow, almost upended himself, but gets it around. That was pretty wild. It almost looked like he was going to scorpion himself. He gets a roll off of the end section. A lot of bounce on that landing. Manages to maintain control.
That was sick. Big backflip right there from Jared Houston. Here's another look. Perfect timing right here. And lands perfectly on the shoulder, but almost loses it. And his body just bouncing and able to maintain. Regains and pulls off a roll on the inside, but a giant backflip right there for Jared Houston. That's going to help his campaign. He's looking to get a better wave than his second highest score wave, which is a 5.2.
That made my back hurt just watching it.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? He pulled it off. It was clean. He did bounce, but he did pull it off. So nice, solid wave. This was what happened as we were watching the replay from Jared Houston.
Leonardo Costa driving off the bottom, punches through the lip, gets the roll around, rides out clean.
Wow. Look at the scores starting to come down. We're still waiting for Jared Houston's wave to come down the pipeline.
7.5 for Jared Houston on the flip.
Oh, my.
Big flip, big reward.
There it is. He's got a commanding lead now. Leonardo Costa for that first place spot, as you can see, needs a 9.0 wave. Mark McCarthy, he only needs a 3.38 to get into that second place spot. So 12 minutes remaining, but Jared Houston looking very solid.
And with that flip, I joke about my back hurting just watching it, but that just goes to show the level of flexibility a lot of our pro riders on the World Tour have, and it's almost mandatory that they be that flexible and maintain that kind of physical well-being to contend with the conditions that they handle on the World Tour.
So what do you think our bodies would have felt if we were bouncing off a backflip like that on Jared Houston, like what Jared Houston did? Chiropractor, please. Give me a list of chiropractors here in Itacoatiara. Chris Joyner, thank you. HeatMadeSimple.com. That's where you want to get your hot pepper powders. I need to get over there and have some sent over.
Nice. Chris Joyner, one of the East Coast boys, tuning in to watch, holding it down for the mainland U.S.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of having him on one of my IndonesiaExperience.com trips, and everybody had a great time on that trip. So, Chris, I'll hit you up when I get back, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The last heat of round number 3. Jared Houston in first place, a very commanding lead here in this heat. Leonardo Costa, he needs a 9.0 wave for that first place spot. Again, it's only 2 riders out of these 3 that will advance on to round number 4. Mark McCarthy now looking for a 3.38 for that second place spot. PLC getting ready, and out the back, Leonardo Costa.
Leonardo Costa with a roll off the top. Comes down about mid-face, drives down the line, and then hits a much better projection on that roll. So there you can see him coming up, taking a look back at the beach. I don't know if he was checking for time or looking for a score, but decent wave from Leonardo Costa on that one. We'll see if that improves his 4.38 secondary score. 5.4 for Leonardo Costa as the scores are dropping. That will strengthen his second place position. That'll make Mark McCarthy's work a little bit more difficult in trying to take over the second spot. Here's the replay.
All right, as you can see, he comes down the line and is already looking for a lip maneuver. Not much of a lip there, kind of a forced roll, but there he goes. Comes into the impact zone and pulls off a nice clean roll through the lip right there. So that second roll, a little bit more smooth and better than that first roll, which had no really power behind it. So there you have it. Leonardo Costa's last wave, 4.38 coming down the pipeline. Mark McCarthy still looking for another solid wave. He's sitting on a 5.88 and a 1.08. So it's just a matter of time. Wow, all four-man heats in round number 4 are incredible. These are the guys who are going to be advancing on to the next heats, the next rounds, because round number 4 is a non-elimination round. That's coming up in about 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Woo, Jackson. It's going to be a long 2 hours coming up because a lot of the guys are going to want to get that first place spot in the next round and bypass 2 rounds and go straight to the quarterfinals. That's huge.
You know what? I may be hungry. I may be thirsty right now, but I'm really stoked for us going into round 4. I think that was a great call by the event staff, the riders, and the judges. I'm really looking forward to going into round 4. That'll really set the stage for the remainder of competition either tomorrow or the following day.
What that does is it opens up the door to be able to play around with the open days in the contest window, to have the best waves for the finals, and that's what we always try to do, is give you the best conditions with the best riders at the end of the event, and hopefully it looks like it's looking to be good. I heard Wednesday or Thursday may be the call. Tomorrow may be a lay day. But again, stay tuned on IBAWorldTour.com for all the latest and greatest information. That's where you're going to hear it first. Also, Twitter and Facebook, IBA World Tour. And all the highlight clips and heats are going to be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com. IBA World Tour. Look at this.
There you can see the current standings out in the water. Jared Houston with a 7.5 and a 6.38 holds the lead. Leonardo Costa sitting in that second spot, holding on to this advancing position with a 4.88 and a 5.4 on his last wave. Mark McCarthy again, a 5.88 and a 1.08. He really needs to get rid of that 1.08 if he's going to have a shot at moving into that second and advancing spot. He's got 7.5 minutes remaining, plenty of time, but he needs to get some work done out there in the water.
That's going to be an easy score to replace, but a 4.4 is what he's after. Totally doable. 7 minutes remaining. So we got lunch delivered. Guess what? Chicken, noodles, rice and beans. That's another 6 pounds.
You know what? It's good eats down here. Definitely well fed on this trip. Well, trip for you. It's like a staycation for me since I'm like down the road pretty much.
I can't believe you left the cold winters of New Jersey for this beautiful paradise. What's wrong with you?
What can't you believe?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Manny V and Steve Action Jackson bringing the live feed. Here we go. Leonardo Costa.
Up and riding, drops down.
Oh.
Ooh. Projects up, and he comes through. That was a pretty hefty section he powered through with that roll. Came out, rode out of the whitewater, held on to the maneuver. That'll be a nice score for Leonardo.
Leonardo Costa. He is currently in second place. We will see how far ahead he can pull away from Mark McCarthy. Mark McCarthy, he's gotta be patient.
And
I don't
here
know
he goes.
I don't know if he wanted this wave, but then again, if he pulls this roll off, it could be a good scored wave. He wants something to replace that 1.08, and that's not gonna do it.
Unable to complete the maneuver. That's not going to help his cause much. That might improve upon his 1.08, depending on how the judges look at it, but not the score he needs, not what he was looking for.
Oh, no.
So you keep teasing me about New Jersey and living in Brazil. I will be back in New Jersey, you realize.
Uh-oh. Yeah, what's the reason? Are you going to be over there for the Jinx, bro?
Yes, I will be in New Jersey for the Jenks Pro in September again. I've been a part of the event since 2005. It's the season finale for the USBA, the U.S. National Bodyboarding Tour. This year, it's also on the slate to be an IBA Global Qualifier Series event.
Oh, wow.
So check out IBAWorldTour.com as well as USBATour.com for all the latest information on the Jenks Pro. But, yeah, I go back to New Jersey for about 10 days, and then I'll be regrouping with you in Mexico. Up and riding, Mark McCarthy here in Brazil. Up and riding, gets a nice air roll spin around. That could be the score he was looking for. Still going, still kicking. Meanwhile, up and riding, Jared Houston looking to strengthen his score. Pulls into a heavy pit and ducks out.
That was unbelievable wave right there for Mark McCarthy. He was on the hunt. Now the pressure is on for Leonardo Costa. Definitely that wave is higher than a 4.4 from Mark McCarthy, which he needed for that second place spot. Let's take another look right here. As you can see, he's already keeping an eye on the section. Tons of speed, and well, a little late, but you know what? Still able to get the projection off the lip to go into that ARS maneuver right there. Mark McCarthy, that's what he was after.
Yes, and one of the key things the judges look for, there you can see him adding a roll at the end. One of the key things the judges look for is being able to complete your air roll spin or your flip without having to throw your legs into the water.
Yeah, so it looked like that was a solid wave right there for Mark McCarthy. We're all waiting for the scores to drop right now, so give us a couple seconds.
And that wave's going to be enough to move Mark McCarthy into second position. There you can see the scores on the bottom of your screen, 7.5 and 6.38 for Jared Houston, his high scores. Mark McCarthy with a 6.4 and a 5.88. So Mark McCarthy with a 6.4, his new high score for the heat on that wave. Bumps Leonardo Costa into the third spot. So now Leonardo on the outside looking in needs a 6.53 to move back into that second and advancing spot with about 3 minutes and change remaining. Oh, and you have to excuse me. Manny Vargas just whipped me in the face with a mouthful of noodles. Anything goes at the IBA. Manny eating off camera, looking like a walrus. All right, there we see just under 3 minutes remaining. Jared Houston in first. Mark McCarthy just moving into the top spot, gaining a 6.4 on his last wave. A big air roll spin and comboed it with a roll off of the smaller inside section. That was enough to bump Leonardo Costa into the third position. Leonardo needs a 6.53 with time counting down. Still plenty of time. All it takes is one wave to change things up, but time not on Leonardo's side. And here's Mark McCarthy up and riding again. Pulls into a nice barrel and rolls out of it before it closes out. So Mark McCarthy really trying to lay down the challenge here at the end of this heat.
That was probably the nail in the coffin for Leonardo Costa right there. Mark McCarthy's last wave. Mark is trying to build on a 5.88 as his second highest scoring wave. That could have been it with a nice pocket ride and a nice move at the end of that roll through the lip as he was coming out of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Itacoatiara Pro, sponsored by Pride, usec.com, and net. Look at this.
And here we have Leonardo Costa looking to get the score he needs, driving down the line, going for nice big maneuver there, comes out of the whitewater.
Oh, no.
Will that be enough?
Oh, no.
He's throwing his hand up to let the judges know he completed it. Maybe a little bit of acclaim. There you can see guys on the beach playing a little beach soccer.
Unbelievable. Wow, it is getting crazy in here in the commentator's booth. Welcome, everybody, to the gusty winds here of Brazil. Look at that, standing by, waiting for his scores to come down.
Talk about coming down to the wire again in another one of these heats. Waiting to see if Leonardo Costa had enough to overtake Mark McCarthy for that second spot.
We're still waiting. Standing by. Standing by. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 40 seconds remaining. Mark McCarthy waiting and sitting to know if Leonardo Costa has scored a wave high enough to knock him out. He doesn't want to get knocked down. Mark McCarthy waiting patiently for the scores to drop. 25 seconds. And there it is, Leonardo Costa's last wave, a 6.2, which is not enough to get into that second place spot. Wow, he needed a 6.78, and that 6.2 was not enough. Woo! Mark McCarthy can now breathe easy.
Wow, Mark McCarthy sitting in third for most of that heat makes the late charge. And then Leonardo Costa trying to make a last-second charge of his own with a matter of seconds left in the heat.